I'm looking for an old wore out racetrack that's going to play heck on tires. 3 sets on the wall, 1 set on the car for a total of 4. You could use that up in the first 10 laps if you really wanted to. And so, typical of Mike Rigney, we're going to have a 4 stint race here. And one of those, you're going to have to choose to stay out on old tires. And old tires here in a stock car, in an Indy car, they're treacherous. Old tires in a stock car, you're begging for a stop. And so tires are going to be the story. Who takes them and when, and what they choose, how they choose to execute their strategy is going to be the story. And that's something I'm gonna be following all night. Looking forward to it. Let's see. Yep, we got you loud and clear now, Gary.
All right, excellent, excellent.
Pace car is off. The green flag is out, and away they go. Sam Crow hits the gas, followed by Vern on the outside. Matty Wagner, the stock car driver, he's up into third. A little bit of a tardy start there. Tim Fielder alongside him. They're going to go 2 by 2 for the first 2 rows, and then Pepto Joe is going to slide into 5th. He's going to have Stretch Armstrong 6th, and already headed for the back would be the, looks like, is that the 70? I can't make out the number, Gary. It's Richie Hearn?
Yep.
No.
Yeah, Richie Hearn's
Big
the 70.
John Von Varellis. Big John Von Varellis was the one I was looking at.
The 78, yeah.
78, yeah. So Big John lost several spots there on the start, but couldn't find his rhythm. This track, you can make up a lot of time over the course of a long run if you save your tires. So not a big deal to be in the back right now. Not a big deal to be out front right now.
Jake Euler in that 15. That's a good-looking paint job there. I like that. Vern Hawkins is broken out to be our leader here. It's Hawkins, Fiedler, Crow, Wagner, Flanagan, your top 5. We're working with a ticker at the top of the screen today. Giving that a go.
A little bit of a different look, but hey, that's all right.
This is given to us by the FTN, so they wanted to see if we wanted to try it out. So I said I'd get a chance to use it, and if it doesn't work well, we got a couple we can fall back on. But right now, kind of a older style NBC type overlay.
Looks just fine to me, brother. And we've got him 2 by 2 all the way back to the field. Big John Von Varellis has still not found the bottom of where he wants to be. He's getting worked over by Brian Grandel now. That's for 13th and 14th spot. Big John right up in the second, third groove there. And now say, hey, Lewis Hayes will set his sights on the 78. He has fallen, Gary, from the 9th starting spot all the way back to 14th.
We got intervals. That doesn't seem to be synced up pretty well. I'm not sure what the deal is there, so we'll go ahead and hide that. Here's your weather situation. 71 degrees temperature. Don't have a track temperature situation on this one, so can't answer that one for you.
You know, I happen to know somebody who might know the answer.
Yeah, I bet you do.
72 degrees on the track. So nighttime conditions here, track the same temperature as the air, pretty much. Sam Crow signaling he's going to stay high for Matty Wagner, stock car ace, who is going to pull his machine, into fourth rather. Well, no, that'll be third over Sam Crow. The front two have broken away. Vernon and Fiedler have checked out, Gary. They are 3 seconds ahead of this Wagner Sam Crow duel. Pepto Joe kind of hanging on the back of that deal. Mike Rigney's in there in 6th. So you got the front two, and then you've got 4, 5, 6 cars from 3rd to about 9th, and then another break, and then you got a group led by Richie Hearn from 9th on back. It looks like kind of a lot of them there too.
Again, we're just doing some new things, and that's why I'm running a little quiet. Otherwise, not checking the audio level, which I got that changed.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. New stuff. You got kinks. You work on that, right? A lot of this stuff, people don't realize, a lot of the stuff that we do is bespoke, one of one. Just like our rigs are, the broadcasting setups are very much like that. Gary and I have been working with something that's extremely familiar for a number of years, and so
Yeah.
go away from that, go to something else. Sometimes it takes some getting used to. All the switches and dials and buttons aren't all in the exact same spot. Looks different, feels different, just like anything else. So we do appreciate you. We do appreciate the audience giving us time to work those things out. As the 15 of
Jake Euler.
He'll swing it to the high side on Elisa Indrianza. Well, he'll try to. The 7 of Greg Evans is going to sneak underneath both of them.
Oh, but he goes he's going down the apron, the block, the 44 down there. Clapper's worked his way up from the last spot. Got to protect that position. Excuse me. Big John back to 15th. Rick D in 16th. Stretch in 17th. Say Hey Lewis Hayes in 18th. So a number of the regulars kind of falling to the back, kind of pacing themselves, knowing that one of these stints they're going to have to go long on tires. So far, no cautions yet. And currently, not counting any laps that have been turned today, there have been 989 laps turned this season in the ISRA Xfinity Series. Only 18 of them have been under caution.
Which just goes to show our audience, you don't have to run over each other to have good racing. I made a mistake tonight and kind of got in a little bit to Hamilton Aquablazy and put old Hamilton in the wall. Didn't mean to do it. Just turned in a little bit too late, and he wasn't anticipating the late entry. But you don't have to run over each other to have good racing. And a lot of these guys, ex-IndyCar guys, as we've documented time and time again, they do not use the bumpers. That is something that they are not used to, and so it produces a lot of long green flag runs. I would venture a guess that Big John has basically given up on the first 2 stints here. He's just saving as much tire as absolutely humanly possible so that he can double stint these early and then get off of them and have a rocket at the end of this race. Same with, say, Hey Lewis Hayes. Same with Stretch Armstrong. Those were 3 cars that qualified rather well. They were all in the upper 2/3 of the field. Stretch Armstrong 6th. He's back to 16th. Big John 9th. Back to 17th. Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He started 12th. He's back to 18th.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be breaking news to say those 3 are playing possum here, just saving their stuff. Say Hey Lewis Hayes, almost a second a lap off the pace. And we know he is not, for the record, a second off the pace.
Yeah, we know he's not that slow there. But I think these guys, I don't blame him. And I've noticed a number of the cars coming through the tri-oval going down to the apron. These guys are not. They're just very out there pacing themselves, trying to get through this first stint, 16 of 135. Let's see. Let's bring out the O calculator, what we think about where we think these stints are going to be. And I think I might have said in the pre-race it was 134 laps, actually. So it's going to be 135. So it's going to be slightly longer than 201 miles. 202.
You're going to want to do a minimum of 34 laps per run. That'll get you there. That'll get you home in 4 stops, or 4 stints, so 3 stops. You got 3 sets of tires.
So 135 divided by 4 gets you 33.75. So yeah, you need to hit every 34 laps in order to do that schedule.
You're going to want tires now, though. They're at lap 17, and these guys are already feeling it. Vern is nearly a second and a half off the pace of his fastest lap. 1.7 seconds off for Tim Feeler. Stock car ace Matty Wagner just a second down. And the gap has kind of stabilized. It ballooned out to 3 seconds fairly rapidly. Now it's 3.5 and holding steady. Stock car ace 0.3 a lap quicker that last time by than Tim Feeler.
Here's a good battle.
He's definitely coming.
Sexton, Flanagan, Hearn, Goodman, all in a gaggle right here.
Yep. That's going to be Pepto Joe on the top side, or around the top side he was. Now Richie Hearn says, I bet I can go higher. I've seen that Murphy guy race a few times. I've watched Jacob Ostrom in IndyCar. I'm going to go around the top side. Hearn pulls the crossover. He's going to get to the bottom of Pepto Joe down the back, gets that good run, and Richie Hearn will have the 6th spot back from Pepto Joe, sets his sights on Bradley Sexton in 5th. And that has allowed Michael Goodman to creep up in the picture. So these 4 cars knotted together, and then you've got Mike Rigney and Greg Evans 9th and 10th. They're lurking. Greg Evans, by the way, is coming.
Yeah, and he's up 8 spots.
He just gets around Rigney there, so move him to 9th. And I'm just going to kind of follow Greg Evans for a minute. Just kind of look at what he's doing. Right around the bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4. Very easy on the throttle. Rigney actually picks up a little bit in the middle. That's going to allow Mike to close up, the host with the most, to close up down the front straight. Sail off into turn 1. Flames out the pipes a lot sooner. We kind of talked about that last week for Greg Evans. Flames out of the pipes a lot sooner, allows him to get a much cleaner exit down the back. He'll distance himself by 3 or 4 car lengths. Closes up on Michael Goodman. He'll be by, I think, Goodman, Gary. He's going to be by Goodman here. Oh, I give it 3, maybe 4 laps tops. He'll be around Goodman and Pepto Joe there and be after Richie Hearn.
Well, now we're back in the swing of things. Got to take care of some business. Of course, if you enjoy P1's coverage of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, you respect the stream, please do us a solid as we see Greg Evans going to get it on the outside here of Goodman. Move him on up now, trying to get to Pepto Joe into 3 and 4. Do us a solid. Make sure to support FTN here by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash the like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 and FTN iRacing broadcasts. The remainder of this season, ISRA Xfinity Series will be on FTN. Ooh, Richie into the wall there.
And that'll happen. As you go, you're going to burn up either the right or left, or either the right or right front. I can't talk, Gary. Right front or right rear. No matter what you do, you're going to burn one. You're going to burn one corner. The setup here, by the way, is the New Hampshire Oval. And so
odd one, yeah.
Mike Rigney once again throws the setup curve, which is completely fair. He's done that a few times, and it's worked out really well. It produces some odd handling characteristics, which is going to keep these guys on their toes. It's going to keep them spread out, and it's really going to let the talent. It's really going to let the talent climb to the top.
Evans right there on the back of Hearn. This really is the closest battle, one of the closest battles on the racetrack at the moment. Although, look at that battle behind him, though. Let's go at Goodman here. They're the whole battle things. But Richie Hearn is going to the inside of Sexton.
Right. Greg Evans doesn't know which way to go now. He's got Hearn, who's a little bit faster than Evans. He'd like to get by them both, and I think he's going to shoot the gap. Is he going to?
Nope. He's going to stay in line.
He's going to push Richie Hearn by Bradley Sexton and then size Hearn up and probably get him down the back here would be my guess. There he goes. Just so strong in that 7 car. Going to go by the 70 and make Greg Evans 5th up from what he started, 17th, 18th? He wasn't last. He was on the last row.
Yeah, he was on the last row. I think he was 17th.
Yep. So Greg Evans plus 12 on the day into the top 5. Next up on his hit list is going to be Sam Crow, although Sam 1.7 seconds up. Sam Crow also just a hair faster that last lap. So now he's getting into cars that should be a little bit better. Matty Wagner, by the way, proving his stock car aceness, has gotten by Tim Fielder, and he is now 2nd. And Matty is running down Vern for the lead. He's cut that gap to 2 seconds now. He's pulled a 2nd out from Tim Fielder, and so kind of keep an eye on a stock car race here. He's moving up toward the front. He's decided he's gonna cook the right sides a little bit here early.
Evans around Hearn, move him up to 5th now. As mentioned, Sam Crow is next. There is Sam in 4th. He has himself a little bit more of a 1.8 seconds, 0.6 seconds to buffer for him back to Evans for the moment. Here it is.
And these guys are getting ready.
Yeah, first stops are coming up real quick if they want to stop. I mean, they got to go fuel, so they all have to stop. So you don't have to stop exactly at 34.
Yeah, I mean, there's some margin on fuel, but you really, the difference on tires is so great. I mean, right now, Vern's fast lap is a 30.8 flat. Right now he's running 32.7, and that's kind of 32.7, 32.8 is kind of the bracket that everybody is in right now. You really cannot afford to give up 2 seconds a lap for very long. So as soon as the first guy hits pit road, and I would anticipate them within the next 5 laps, as soon as the first guy hits it, the rest will follow in short order, just because you're going to lose so much time.
Now, Vern is our leader. It's been a while since we've seen Vern back in the series, though, and is kind of pulling away at the moment. Has led every lap so far.
Yep. Just to give you an update on Big John now, Big John Von Bareilles, he is still shotgun on the field, almost 18 seconds behind, as he very softly treads around the Kansas Speedway, trying to maximize the life in his tires. That's got to be a strategy call. Big John, a very, very, very good, very, very, very good stock car driver. That's got to be some sort of a strategy call for him. We're watching Greg Evans. I'm watching Greg Evans now. He is closing down on Sam Crow pretty quick, 1.4 seconds. Greg Evans, half a tenth faster that last lap. So he's definitely coming.
Will he get to him before the first stops occur? The window is very, very close. We are about right there. Next lap, the window's open.
It is. Now, the tires have stabilized. So they got to 32.7. That happened within... They got to 32.7. That happened about the 28 lap mark, and the tires have stabilized. And so you're not really losing any time, old tires versus old tires now, right? The advantage seems to last for about 20 laps, and then it's going to go away. You're going to be a rocket for, let's call it 10 laps. And then after that, the fall off is pretty severe until you get to about lap 25, Gary.
Yeah.
And then it's what it is, right? There's those, we talk about it in Indy cars a lot. There's cliffs in the tires, right?
Yep.
They've reached that cliff or that plateau as it is with a performance, and now you've just got what you've got. They're not going any faster or slower now with the tire wear. So
there is our first taker to pit road, Vern Hawkins.
Yeah, so Vern's going to take it, bring it down pit lane right at lap 34, right on the numbers. That'll hand the lead to noted stock car ace Matty Wagner, who is pulling away from Tim Fielder and Sam Crow. 2.2 seconds back to Fielder, 3.5
Clapper,
to Crow, 4.5 to
also
Evans.
on pit road. Oh, here we got a new overlay here. Clapper slides through. We can see countdowns on the pit stops there. At least 2 on pit road.
Another taker, that's going to be the stock car driver, Tim Fielder, also on pit road. So
Vern Hawkins, 14.15 there in the box. More coming to pit road.
That's going to promote Sam Crow to the lead. Greg Evans is now 4 tenths behind Sam, and so Crow, Evans, Hearn, and Goodman, the front 4, still yet to stop. Mike Rigney still on his original good years, still out there circulating. Here comes Greg Evans. He's going to hit pit road 36 laps in. Same for Richie Hearn. He'll pull it down pit road.
So we're going to watch. We're going to watch Hawkins here because he was the first to pit. See if anybody beats Hawkins out. Wagner does not. Hawkins now up to 10th. Goodman coming to pit road. Your leader right now is Sam Crow, waiting for pit stops to conclude. We'll go back up to Crow here. There is Crow. In fact, Hawkins is right behind Crow, trying to get his lap back. So if we go caution right now, that's going to be interesting. Greg Evans, did he stop? He did stop, and he is coming off of pit road now, going down a lap.
He did. So Crow, Euler, Armstrong, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and to not anybody's surprise who's watching, Big John, Von Varela's, the 5 that have not stopped.
Yeah.
They have not stopped. Rigney has now hit pit lane. And so he went the longest out of those original leaders.
14.6 for Rigney on pit road. So everyone has stopped with the exception of Crow, Euler, Armstrong, Hayes, and Big John. There is, we see, Hawkins getting his lap back around Sam Crow. So that's what new tires does for you.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like watching an IMSA race where you got the GTPs and the GT3s. Right now, the guys on new tires, they're the prototypes. The guys on the old stuff, they're the sedan class. I mean, that's almost what it feels like. They're so much faster.
The Pro-Am class.
Yeah, Greg Evans just set a new personal best that time, 30.985. Let's compare that to Sam Crow.
Here comes Crow coming to pit road right now.
Yeah, well, he's losing too much time. His last lap was 33.219. So.
Jake Euler staying out. He will pick up the lead.
Big John Von Varellas is going to go for another round. Course. I wouldn't be surprised to see him run the tank dry.
And Big John does move up to 4th. There he is. So Euler now working lap 41 of this stint, and now he's coming to pit road. Stretch is going to stay out another lap. Stretch passes him right there. Oh, Euler has a hard time getting to pit road, and he cuts through the grass, and that's going to be another lap. That's going to be costly.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's such a hard deal. You're coming off the banking, you're on the brakes, you hit that transition. It's much more abrupt than it appears on TV, and you're on old tires, and you have no grip, and there's marbles.
Here comes Stretch. Stretch is going to stay out again for 42 laps.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have made their bed now. If you're still out there, say, hey, Lewis Hayes is going to hit pit road. If you're still out there now, you've committed to going the length of the fuel run. Big John has even decided he's going to stop. So, if you're Stretch Armstrong, you've made your bed. He's calling pit lane now. Jake Euler makes it to after a slow lap, makes it into pit lane.
I would imagine Euler might have been almost out of fuel, and he had to milk that thing to get around here. But here comes Stretch to pit road. This will turn everything back over to Hawkins, and we will see what type of lead Hawkins has. I believe he's going to have roughly a 3-second or so lead, give or take. We'll see, over Wagner.
Something like that. I'm interested to see where Pat Armstrong comes out. So he ran the thing dry. The good is starting to go away now from Vern and Matty Wagner and those guys. And so I'm interested to see where he comes out and where he winds up in about 15 laps. So write this down. Let's check it back in on Pat Armstrong about lap 60.
All right.
Just to see where he is. He's going to come out of the pits.
He's going to come out in front of Vern.
What? He's on the back now.
Stretch is now back down to 13th there, so the overlay is updated. So Hawkins is the leader. He's about a leader by about 3 seconds over Wagner, which I said would probably be about the margin there. And then Evans is 6 seconds back of Hawkins. Bradley Sexton 12 seconds back. Hearn 12 seconds back. That's probably the closest battle on the racetrack right now. Pepto Joe and Evan Clapper are also in a pretty close proximity. Michael Goodman there as well. Our points leader by 10 points over this man right here, Sam Crow.
So the answer to the first question is he came out 13th, which is huge. He's got about an 8-lap tire advantage, anywhere between 6 to 8 laps on tires advantage in front of everybody else, and the scoreboard goes green for Stretch Armstrong. His best lap of the day, 31.6. So he's 0.2 faster than the leaders at this point. So we'll see if this works out for him. I'm going to check back in on him in 15 laps.
He's getting ready to get up to Brian Graydon here next lap or two. But let's reset the field. I do want to thank everybody for joining us. This is P1's coverage of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, coming to you from Kansas. We've completed a 47 of 135 scheduled laps. If you're enjoying this race and you like the coverage that we're doing here and would like to monetarily support us, please find a link to our GoFundMe campaign in the stream's description. We do realize times are tough, but we would appreciate any donation that you can give.
Speaking of donations, Michael Goodman, Evan Clapper, those two are going to be donating to the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. They have been battling it out for the last 3 or 4 laps. Goodman on the low side, Clapper on the high side. Clapper finally clears Michael Goodman in that battle, but those two used up a lot of stuff right there battling each other. Mm-hmm. You don't want to do that. You race this track almost like you would Darlington or Rockingham. If memory serves, this place has not ever been repaved.
No.
And the Midwestern winters in the Plain States are
pretty brutal.
Not kind.
Yeah, pretty brutal.
They're not kind to pavement. And so this place is old, it's wore out, it's bumpy, and it'll nuke your tires pretty quick, and so you have to be really deliberate about when you want to race people. And you can see it. Goodman, he's fixing to lose a spot here to Sam Crow. He's got Mike Rigney coming, the host with the most. He's coming. He might like to have that spot too, all because him and Evan Clapper raced each other really hard for 3 or 4 laps. Got your tires hot. Clapper got the spot, but it may be a Pyrrhic victory because he's used up a ton of grip early in this run.
Well, let's go through the field, and we're actually not that far away from the next round of pit stops occurring, believe it or not.
No, they go quick when they stay green, don't they?
Yeah, it does. We are looking at lap 68. We're at 52 right now, so let's reset the field. Your leader is Vern Hawkins, who has led everything but the period where it overlapped for his pit stop. Matt Wagner is second. He is up. He started up front this time instead of coming from the back, so he's going to remain up front all day today. Greg Evans is going to be approaching Wagner here soon, up 14 spots. Started in the rears and is now in third. Richie Hearn, great run for him in the 4D Raceway car. He is currently fourth, up 6 spots, along with Bradley Sexton. Bradley Sexton, excuse me. Bradley is up 6 spots as well. In the number 16, and he is leading this group of, the 77 is a lap down at the moment. That's Tim Fiedler. He must have got a speeding penalty on pit road. Ooh, Sexton almost in the wall on corner exit there. So I'm showing a very long pit stop for Fiedler on pit road at a 54.8 seconds. So that sounds like a 40-second hold to me. Sexton is your leader, or Sexton, excuse me, is in 6th. This next car, and behind him and leading this group is Evan Clapper in 7th, up 11 spots. Michael Goodman, your points leader, up in 8th here. Just kind of hovering around this spot all day long. Pepto Joe down 4 spots from where he started, but still in the top 10 in 9th, and Rigney in 10th, rounding out the bottom portion of the top 10.
Circling among others out here, we've got Rick D. He's 18 seconds back. He's 11th. Rick started 16th, so put him up 5. Brian Grandin, 26 seconds back, so he's got a ways to get to Rick D for the next spot, but he's 12th. Stretch Armstrong is 13th after starting 6th. And remember, we're going to check back on him in 5 laps. He's out there on the long. He's playing the long game. Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Eliza Andriani, Big John, Eliza Andriani, the last car on the lead lap in 15th. Big John, Tim Fiedler, and Jake Euler all 1 lap down. So the go long and go slow strategy for Big John not really paying off today. We have a nice battle for position, or a nice battle. I'm not going to say it's for position. Jake Euler has turned up the wick on that 15. Maybe a little bit of red mist behind the visor of the 15 machine, but he's definitely he had nothing to lose. He's about half a second at the lap quicker than the cars running. Ooh, awful close to Pepto Joe there. As you were, he gets by Pepto Joe. He's going to go by Michael Goodman. But Jake Euler definitely feeling the mist. He's going to need a caution and a pit cycle to cycle back up there. But you never know, right, Garrett? It's racing.
All right. Still working with some of these. There we go. The top ticker there, and we'll do intervals. Hopefully those show up. All right, and we are 59 of 135 now, and that is right behind Vern. That is Eliza Adriani, 1 lap down at 15th.
There you go. So I promised that we would check back in on Pat Stretch Armstrong on lap 60. It is lap 59 coming to lap 60. He has made up 1 spot. He has gotten by Brian Grandin, 25 seconds down on the leader, but he is 0.2 a lap. Well, 1.5 a lap that last time. But he's consistently been 2 to 3 a lap quicker than Vern, Matty Wagner, and Greg Evans, who are the front 3. In analyzing that strategy, so to speak, if you wanted to, it seems as though there wasn't really much profit in it, at least for the moment. Stretches, he was, about 15 seconds behind the leader when the pit cycle started. He got to lead a little bit, but he lost himself 10 seconds in the process. That's going to be awful tough to make up if everything stays heads up. If everything stays heads up, you may be looking at guys in this, P12, 13, 14 bracket here, and they're all running kind of together. Rick D is next up the road, but he's 5 seconds up. You may be looking at these cars 12th, 13th, and 14th being a lap down after the next cycle, and maybe even Rick D too, just depending on how it all shakes down. But it does not appear that the going long and turning your car into a short-term rocket ship has paid off for Pat Stretch Armstrong here. At least not yet.
And we're putting the intervals back up, and that is not right, but I'm running it because I'm going to let the dev of the overlay check that out on the stream to find out why that is not synced up. So don't freak out if you're going to come back to say, hey, those are not right. I know they're not right. So we're just trying to document them here for the dev. But, maybe we'll fall back to a more familiar overlay next week.
Now, Gary, did you know the intervals aren't correct on your overlay?
Yes.
I just wanted to...
Okay. All right.
No worries, brother. No worries. We've kind of settled down into a deal where there's not really much action out here, other than Tim Fiedler. He's climbed to the outside of Bradley Sexton, but Fiedler is a lap down, right?
Yeah.
Evan Clapper trying to follow him through. Beyond that, not really a whole lot of action throughout the deal. Now, if you're now that is a battle for position between Fielder and Euler, and Clapper going to follow them through. They're trying to get away from the lap cars.
Right. Fiedler is a lap down. Oh, wow. That got tight there. The 77 is a lap down. And
it got loose and tight all at the same time.
Yeah, it did. And that's the 44 Clapper. He is in 6th, so he is trying to continue moving forward, not losing a lot of pace. And right behind him is Sexton there in 7th. And then also in the picture and in this battle, Goodman and Rigney 8th and 9th. So we'll pay attention to this battle right here. This is the closest group of guys on the lead lap for position on the racetrack at the moment.
It is indeed, and here's the thing. I mean, I know these cars, not aerodynamically what some of these guys are used to, but clean air does still matter here. We heard from Greg Evans last week that it does matter with his race with Michael Goodman. So, that's going to benefit Evan Clapper in more ways than one. That gives him a bit of an advantage over Sexton, Goodman, and Rigney, the guys in pursuit. He gets to pick his line. He doesn't have to worry about other cars around him. Doesn't have to worry about anybody sliding into him. As we see Goodman take the dive.
And you know what? Pit stop time coming up here very shortly. And in fact, I suspect that we will see Vern Hawkins on pit road very soon.
Yeah, so he went 35 the first time. I would anticipate any time within the next 3 to 4 laps, we'll see him, and then we'll see everybody else follow suit. We saw in that first cycle, you want to hit pit road as soon as the first car does, because if you don't, you're going to wind up in a situation where Pat Armstrong is, where he's in that danger zone of going a lap down now. The tires have equalized. Vern and Matty Wagner and Greg Evans are now faster than him, and so going long is not going to pay here. You're going to have to stop as soon as the leader stops, and it's really kind of at Vern's discretion. He started to pull away from Matty Wagner a little bit. He's fallen into the clutches of Greg Evans. They're 0.6 apart. But that's what I'm kind of looking for. Who's going to flinch first? And then if whoever does, you're going to have to cover him.
Yeah, as you saw, I was circling on the drawing board here. That is not right. 69 lap stint. No, that is not right. So I had to restart the overlay at one point for some reason. And that doesn't remember, so that hopefully next stint it will remember it. But at least we're keeping a mental note of when pit stops occurred. And again, we're expecting Vern Hawkins any time on pit road. There, our leader in the 14. And here it comes.
Yes, sir. So he went 35 the first time. Shocked and surprised that he's going to go 35 the second time. Vern Hawkins will hit pit road right at lap 70 as anticipated. I would also suspect that we're going to see the stock car ace pit his number 12 machine the next time around.
Clapper on pit road. Clapper on pit road.
Yeah. These guys all followed each other one lap after the other the last time around. So let's see. Is Wagner going to stop this time or not? He's up around the high side. We're going to see Evans going to hit pit road. Matty Wagner going to take it around one more time. He's got Big John Von Varellis in front of him. Bradley Sexton just got on the radio and said, "I'm struggling, gentlemen." And give you a note of the collegial nature of this league here. Matty Wagner going to bring it to pit road. Yes, "I'm struggling, gentlemen." And that was something we were kind of talking about today during the Indy Open race. Sam Carosella, a great noted road racer, got to experience his first top split oval tonight, and we were talking in our Discord. Sam was rather surprised at the collegial nature of those races, guys joking on the radio and so forth. And we kind of had to remind him, like, for us, those races are kind of like a league. And a lot of us have been racing against each other for several years. And so, but it's always fun to race in those where guys are, you know each other. Guy makes a mistake, he's going to apologize. I made the mistake tonight, and I've apologized profusely, privately and publicly. But guys aren't toxic, and it's a lot of fun to race those races. I'm going to watch Matty Wagner get off a pit road here. Be careful. Don't get up next to that white line. Very slippery on that apron. Try to give yourself a straight shot as you can down the back. Hit the gas. He's going to blend right up in front of Jake Euler, who has made up his lap now that the leaders have come to pit road.
So Sam Crow, let's get the pit road thing off. Pit road overlay or graphic off. Anyways, I'm trying to say Sam Crow. He went to 41 laps on his first stint, so he's only 34 into this current one, so he has a long ways to go still.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see Matty Wagner unlap himself from Sam Crow here. I get that, you want to try to shorten up that last run as much as possible, but then you lose so much time doing what he's doing right now. He's going to come around for another one, and you just watch. I mean, the stock car race, he pulled Sam Crow by a second in half a lap. And these guys are running around 31.3. Sam Crow ran his last lap 32.9. Mike Rigney 33.2. These guys are 2 seconds a lap quicker. There's just, I don't see what there is to be gained at this point. You've got to come in and pit.
Here comes Sam Crow, I think. No, thought he was coming down. So in the news though, in the overcut though, Evans getting around Wagner. So Evans, when we cycle through, we'll go up to second. Wagner now will be down the third. Hawkins is going to have about a 5-second lead over Evans, give or take, maybe 4 seconds.
Yeah, so that's news. So that was a 3-second gap when they stopped. So that's news, and that tracks, Greg, or that tracks because Vern stopped 2 laps before the stock car race. He stopped a lap before Greg Evans, and that's what that undercut will do. Even if it's just 1 lap, when it's 2 seconds a lap, it's a huge deal. And it picked Vernon Hawkins up another couple of seconds. And he's not really going to have to pay for it, right? Unless there's late cautions where somebody like Big John has saved tires. I don't foresee this being a strategery race, so to speak.
Looking like lap 102-ish should be where we expect. We look at that.
Big John went down into turn 3 and he ran the middle, and poor old Matty Wagner. We give him so much grief, but he had to pick high or low, and he picked high, and Big John he's out there skating around. He's been on those tires for 37 laps now. Big John went to turn left and the thing didn't turn, and he had to get all the way out of the gas to avoid collecting Matt Wagner.
He's probably due here in about 4 laps or so, give or take. And there goes that is grading around him. Say Hayes now up to third. Hawkins your leader. Stretch Armstrong. Actually, Hawkins gets around Armstrong. Armstrong, of course, running long, 36 laps into his current run. Sam Crow on pit road, coming off of pit road right now. I think Rigney's with him.
Now that's going to hand the lead to Pat Armstrong when the leaderboard updates. Interested to see the gap.
No, it's going to hand the lead to Vern.
Right, so Vern's got around him. So all that extra running, it cost Stretch Armstrong essentially a lap and a half, right? When it gets down to it, because you lose about a lap and a half here. So it's cost him quite a bit of time. Vern, though, just class of the field speed, man. Class of the field. And I wonder, you wonder now with that nice, essentially 5-second cushion, do you start saving your stuff? Do you just continue to run your pace? What do you do with that, right?
Well, he's due in about another 20 laps or so. This is Vern as our leader. He's been pretty much predictable, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's just, that's pretty good for us. It makes their job easier. But Hawkins is your leader. Armstrong currently on the racetrack, still needing the pit. We suspect that he'll be in about 88 or so for maybe another 5 laps or so for a stretch here, as he continues to hemorrhage a little bit. But he's getting passed by, Lewis Hayes. Up the third for Hayes. Right behind these, right in front of these guys is Evans. They passed him for position, but he just stopped not too long ago. He's only 11 laps in, so these guys that are looking at the leaders right in front of them, Hayes and Armstrong, they're going to have to pit and watch those leaders just sail off without them. So we're right in that general neighborhood for when these guys are going to pit next. Big John also out there long. That's the remainder of the actually Big John on pit road now.
Now, the only benefit to this is if they were to catch a caution.
Yes.
Right now, they essentially have an extra set of tires. So that's kind of what their gamble is. Maybe they figured, look, I don't have the speed to outright win it on pace. I'm going to need a lucky break. I'll try to create my own luck.
Yeah.
And that's about where you're at, because you're seeing say Lewis Hayes and Pat Armstrong, effectively a lap down. They're not careful, they're going to be 2 laps down, and then you're really in trouble. Because yellow can't save you then.
All right, well, let's reset the field. Vern Hawkins, your leader. Greg Evans is P2. Matt Wagner right there on Evans is P3. Lewis Hayes still needs to stop. He's 43 laps into his current stint. He stopped on lap 43 last time. So we might be seeing him make that turn down pit road this time. Stretch Armstrong also right there with him. They're both looking to pit here. Clapper will move past these two and move up into 4th once they hit pit road. Clapper is 16 laps into his current stint, so he is well in the middle of his run. And there is Hayes on pit road. We'll give one more position to Clapper when he gets the pass on them on pit road. Here he comes down the front straight, so he'll get that position there. Clapper now up to 5th. Goodman now the 6th. Byrne the 7th. Pro 8th. As Lewis Hayes continues to fall down the standings. But again, he was just really a caution flag away from getting a big break.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, oval racing, with full course yellows, of course, the specter of that is always not too far away. And so you think, okay, well, look, I mean, if I was in this race, I know I don't have the speed to run up there with Vern Hawkins and Greg Evans and Matty Wagner. I just don't have it in these cars. So what can I do? What can I do that is going to put me in position to take advantage, right? Well, it's going to have to be some sort of strategy call here with tires. Maybe it's going long, right? Maybe use the cycles, and if you catch a lucky yellow in those 10 or 15 laps, you know what? You're golden, because essentially now you've got the extra set of tires. The bad news is, we've been green flag, and I'm going to knock on wood. You can say that I gave the first lap 89, but did you hear me knock?
We will circle that number right there, 89. That
89. It's all Mark's fault, but you really do. You're gonna have to try to create your own luck, and if you get that break, it's huge. But that just, again, it speaks to the talent level and the skill of these drivers and their respect for one another. Not a single caution. We've run 18 laps under yellow the entire season.
Yes.
You said?
Yes.
That's amazing.
We've had 4 cautions all season long, 2 of which were at Richmond, and only ran a total of 18 14 laps. Let me go back even further. Going back to the truck series that we had, that we broadcasted before, they went 885 laps. Only 44 of those were under caution. So that's roughly 95% of green flag racing right there. Right now, we're more than 98%. We're at 98.180% of green flag racing. That's going to go up here because we've done another 91 or so. But if you take the combined totals between, and this just tells you the same, some of the same guys did the Xfinity that are in Xfinity did the truck series. Combined total, not including what we have today, we turned today, but 1,874 total laps. Only 62 laps of those 1,874 under caution between the two leagues, the two series there.
Yeah, that's an incredible stat. And you know what I'm missing tonight, Gary? I am missing watching Lionel Callisto's hands on the tires. I have not seen the big train dirt track and a stock car tonight, and I kind of miss it. Maybe not always the fastest thing to be doing, but it sure is a lot of fun to watch. Stock car race, watching his in car, very, very, very smooth. Same with Evan Clapper. The Clapper machine, the Affleck Duck. Now that's one I don't think I've ever seen.
Very interesting. Well, let's and there is Crow getting a position on Clapper right there, down low. So that's got point implications right there. So let's talk about point implications. Wagner really is the one that's looking to benefit the most in the top three. He is ahead of Goodman. Callisto not in the lineup, and he is the highest placed driver currently. That's highest in the standings. So he is placed in fourth, currently third on the racetrack. Sam Crow, on the other hand, is third in the points, but fourth on the racetrack. So he is trying to reel in Wagner here, and he has quite the ways to go to get the Wagner. It's about 14 seconds.
Yeah, that's half a lap. I mean, really the front three have been in a class by themselves. Crow was one of those guys that stopped later, so he's about 10 laps better than Evan Clapper on tires. Same advantage over Michael Goodman. But Sam, the tires have leveled off. He's a little bit fractionally quicker than Wagner and Evans and Hawkins, but not by much. We're talking a couple 3/10. Certainly not enough. That's going to let him chop 17 seconds out of that lead in the next. Oh golly, we're thinking about they're going to be coming. Coming another 38 laps or so. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of round 8 of 14 of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, coming to you from Kansas. Where Vern Hawkins started for the pole and is currently our leading, with just about 35 laps to go. We're coming up to the 100 lap point here. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. Also, don't forget your commentary team by sending a donation via our GoFundMe link. Campaign link is in the description, and you can send us a donation, and we certainly would appreciate it if you could. So coming to lap 100 here very, very shortly. Vern Hawkins has really dominated the day, but he's not won this thing. And Greg Evans coming to pit road. He's on pit road for his final stop. Yeah, and that's early, but that's the desperation gamble now, right? He hasn't been able to get by the stock car race, who was also pitting. So these guys are going to gamble a little bit now. The gamble here.
Vern is on pit road. Vern's on pit road a little early. So maybe he saw one go to pit road. He's like, I'm going to go.
Yeah, he covered him off. These guys want no cautions now. No cautions. If a caution flies, these guys are in bad trouble because these tires wear leaving the pit lot. And that's not to be hyperbolic or exaggerated. You lose grip leaving pit road here.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of gambling if you stop this early, because if you get a yellow here, now that's going to put the race in the hands of somebody like Sam Crow or Evan Clapper or Michael Goodman, who are still out there circulating. Sam Crow, he's got a ways to go yet. He stopped at lap 80, and so he's going to come to pit road. He's going to be a lap down, but he's going to be a second a lap quicker than everybody for the rest of the race, probably, when he does choose to stop. Good on the tires, remember, 17 to 20 laps, 15 to 20. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of time Sam can make up.
Tim Fiedler not having a good night. Had a good start. He is up. He is currently 18th. Got caught for speeding on pit road. But he has been fast on the racetrack and off it. He has the purple lap, 30.743 set early in the race. A little something to hang your hat on, but not a good night for him. Just with no cautions, nothing to really kind of recover from. 12 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Your leader is Sam Crow, followed by Michael Goodman, Richie Hearn, Mike Rigney, Pepto Joe, Bradley Sexton. I think we have cars coming to pit road. Yeah, Michael Goodman coming to pit road. Bradley Sexton, no, not coming to pit road. I thought maybe he was slowing down there. But Goodman coming to pit road for his final stop. Clapper coming to pit road. Actually, he might be coming off of pit road for his final stop is complete.
For sure. Sam Crow still out there, still leading the race.
Yeah, I would imagine he's just going to run it as long as he can, maybe hope for a caution, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's the card that you've got left to play. I would think you're probably going to see Sam. You're probably going to see the old Crow in probably like 110 or 115.
He stopped. Last stint was 39. Current stint's 24.
He was in at 80, so
yeah, he put it on lap 80.
Anywhere between 105 and 110 would be just fine. But yeah, if you're out there now, you're hoping, again, Crow, Richie Hearn, Mike Rigney, Bradley Sexton. If you're sitting out there right now and you haven't stopped yet, Ryan Grandin, you're just hoping for a yellow, because that's going to put you in the catbird seat. Knock on wood, we hope we don't see one, right? We always want to see green flag racing, but that's what those guys are kind of gambling on again. You play the cards you're dealt. Sometimes you can deal yourself at least one ace, and maybe you hit one on the board, right?
Let's talk about our ace of the last couple weeks, Greg Evans. He is now within a second of Vern Hawkins on the racetrack.
I feel like this is the same book, different chapter.
Second verse, same as the first. Third verse, same as the first. We kind of saw it a little bit at New Hampshire. Saw it last week actually get pulled off, and now we're seeing a little bit of what happened last week now playing out today as it relates to Greg Evans. This last stint, there seems to always be one car left on the racetrack that's going to be the chief challenger to him, and that car right now seems to be Vern Hawkins.
Greg Evans, just a touch of the stopwatch slower that time. 31.206 for Hawkins, 31.231 for Evans, so 25 thousandths. Evans is in a little bit of traffic. It's behind him now, but he does have a little bit of traffic, and look, it's not in front of him, but you still see it in your mirrors. It can still, you still want to be aware of what Eliza Indriana and Tim Fiedler are doing behind you, for sure. Lead up now to 1.1 seconds for Vern Hawkins. Effectively the leader. Rigney, Bradley Sexton, and Sam Crow, your top three. Crow is pulled into pit lane.
Yeah, Crow's on pit road, so he's giving that up. So it's Rigney and Sexton now. Here comes Rigney to pit road. Final stop. Going to turn it over to Sexton, see if Sexton stays out. Sexton's going to stay out. So he will go one more lap and then turn the field back over to Vern Hawkins, who is right behind him, who is going to get a heck of a run on the high side and blow his doors off. That is the power of new tires.
And how about the fuel save for Bradley Sexton? He last stopped on lap 73.
Yeah.
So
in 35 laps on this stint.
Yeah, so he's stretched it out quite a bit. We've seen guys go 40, and look at this. They're going to split him. You got Evans to the bottom, Indriani to the top.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, and there he goes into the wall. So he'll probably hit pit road now, I would imagine, and then execute that fast repair. Oh, the Richie Hearn giving evasive action, trying to get around them, came up on him quickly. So we'll see if Sexton comes to pit road. I imagine he is. No. All right. Well,
I don't know, Gary. Sometimes you adjust it on the wall over there. It runs a little bit better.
So now final stops are done. 110 of 135 and 25 laps to go. Hawkins is your leader. He has tires better by a lap.
Bradley Sexton is going to come to pit road this time. He signaled to pit in. He is going to come, take his tires, take his fast repair, get on out of there. Maybe he doesn't fast repair it. He didn't hit it that hard. He didn't have very far to go. Of course, Richard Petty coined that, right? If you run the outside, you don't have very far to go to hit the wall, and consequently, it doesn't hurt as bad when you do. And so, maybe he leaves the fast repair just in case of later emergency. There is a strategy around those, by the way. I've learned that running the Dark Horse Series. If you're involved in something early, you might not take it. To leave it for later.
Yeah.
So there is a strategy. So much fun running that series, by the way. So many of these guys run that. Series as well. The DW12s.
Well,
Sunday
actually, night. Yeah, and the season is over, but they are going to do a summer series, and people might want to check them out. Oh, a little bit of a lag there. Starting on the 28th of July, they're starting a 4-race summer series. This is the Dark Horse DW12 series, or Dark Horse Racing Series. They race the Lara DW12 IndyCar. And it's going to be a 4-race, 5 of the crown jewels of IndyCar oval racing. So it'll be Legacy Michigan, then Fontana, then I believe Legacy Pocono, and then Indianapolis. All 500-mile races. All will be 3 wide starts, they tell me. All races except Indianapolis will do a 2-lap average speed qualification run, and then Indianapolis will be a 4-lap average speed qualification run as traditional. And they have them pretty well spread out. It's not 4 weekends in a row, but the first race is July 28th. And if anyone is interested in that series, somehow hit me up either on the ISRA Discord or send a message here in chat, and then I'll send you the Dark Horse invite to their Discord server, and you can sign up for that. So 4 500-mile races. I'm not sure if there's any entry fee, but the DW12, if you're thinking about, well, I need to buy the car, the DW12 is free. You already have it if you have a subscription to iRacing.
That's right. Awfully fun car to race, too. I got to peel my rookie stripes off in that series this year. Ton of fun. Again, a lot of these guys coming from Lionheart, which is, clearly one of the bigger, if not the biggest IndyCar series in the service. And I just went completely Blink City. Yeah,
did you blink out too?
I just did.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I'm wondering maybe the service is having some issues right now. 20 to go. But yeah, that's a lot of IndyCar routes here in this series, even though we got it on a predominantly a stock car channel here on FTN. But a lot of these drivers formerly of Lionheart. But a lot of these a lot of these guys in the lineup, such as Evans. I think Clapper's also kind of one of those. Pepto Joe, Stretch Armstrong, Big John. kind of the stock car ringers of the family of friends of the host with the most, Rigney. Mike Rigney, he has some of these guys that he's raced with over years and years and years, has invited them to this league, and they bring a very high standard of racing with them, already among the very high standard that Lionheart promotes with their standard of racing. So this is why we're seeing we've gone almost 135 laps now without seeing a caution.
Yeah. 117 complete, working 118. Vern Hawkins, 1.1 seconds over Greg Evans. Matty Wagner, the stock car race, has, I don't want to say
7.5. He's got a long way to go, but he needs a caution at this point.
I don't want to say he's given up the chase, Gary,
No, but this is a good race for him because he of everybody in a position to get the best bang for their buck in terms of points today, he is definitely capitalizing on it. Coming into today's race, he was fourth in the standings, only 4 behind Crow, and right now, where he finishes, he should come either really close or beat Crow. Crow's only 2 positions behind him, so Crow really needs to get around Clapper at some point, and I don't think he's within. Oh yeah, he's got a good shot at Clapper. Clapper right there in this shot. They're in the same picture. Clapper, they're coming off of turn 4. But the points lead coming into today is Goodman had a 10-point lead over Callisto. Callisto with a 4-point lead over Crow. Crow with a 4-point lead over Wagner. That whole top 4 has been very tight all season long. And then there was a bit of a 36-point fall off between Wagner in 4th and Pepto Joe in 5th.
Well, and don't think that these guys don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, in the aforementioned Dark Horse series, the Discord is Matt Wagner, myself, and Mark the Watchman. Don't you think for 2 seconds that Matty Wagner doesn't know exactly what the point situation is and exactly what he needs to do to maximize that? Because he does, and he knows Lionel Callisto's not here, right? He knows Sam Crow is behind him. He knows Michael Goodman's behind him. He knows Greg Evans hasn't run all the races. So he knows.
Yeah.
Right?
Evans reeling in. Hawkins, 5/10 now. Hawkins getting a little squirrely off of 2.
Sam Crow has caught Evan Clapper. That's the other big battle on the track. I think P4 is going to change hands here pretty shortly. Sam Crow is going to turn left going down the back. He's going to pull the inside of Evan Clapper, move Sam Crow up to 4th.
Yep. And that's a big move for Crow.
No.
Crow will get it eventually. Oh, he just slides right on up there. But it's a big move for Crow because he needs to stay within touch of Wagner.
I almost pulled out the Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend, but he wasn't able to.
Yeah, but he gave the old Brazilian clear, so that's.
Well, but you're also looking at 6 laps difference in tires. Sam Crow in at 107, Evan Clapper in at 101, and that's.
Here's another close battle on the racetrack. Here's your points leader in 6th, followed by Richie Hearn, who is in the top 10, and is having a fantastic race.
What I was about to say, that's the difference in a guy whose tires haven't quite hit that cliff and a guy who has, right? Evan Clapper's tires are done. They've hit the cliff. They are what they are now. Sam Crow still have a little bit of good left in them.
Here we go. Hawkins now 4/10 over Evans in the same picture now. That is, I believe, Rigney between them.
Rigney on much fresher tires.
Yeah, much.
Himself.
He is now Rigney 16-lap old tires, 17-lap. 10 laps difference between himself and Vern.
Now, Mike does not need to pull over. I mean, he's got Pepto Joe behind him. That's a battle for position. And he's got Michael Goodman just up the road. That's a battle for position. He does not need to give best to Vern here. You don't want to hit him, of course, but you don't need to pull over for the guy either. He's fighting hard to stay on the lead lap. Again, should a caution fly? he's in good shape. Now Vern Hawkins and Greg Evans are gonna get by, and I think Mike used up whatever grip he had left is now gone. He tried, but whatever grip he had left is now gone, and the front two are right nose to tail Gary.
And he's going to turn down underneath them. Vern giving a good bit of a fade there, keeping him behind. Now to the apron, side by side at the line, going in the one. Can he hold this momentum up the top side with these older tires? Both are really on the same. Oh!
Now it's better when you're on old tires. It's much better to be on the high side than it is the low side, because when you're on the bottom, when you're on the high side, the tendency of these cars, and really any car in the service that's set up for ovals, the tendency is to get
Evans has
tighter.
the reset there. Sorry, he had a little bit of a contact there, a little netcode contact, had the reset. So he gets Vern Hawkins gets a little bit of a reprieve for a lap. Now Evans mounting the attack again. Go on.
The tendency of these cars in any oval car is to get tighter as the run goes, right? So tighter understeer, you want to hit the wall with the right front. You mitigate that by running the top, right? Because running the top naturally frees the car up, and you run it more off the right rear, which makes it oversteer, which means you want to hit the wall with the right rear of the car. And so essentially the top side is the place to be. It's going to be very difficult, even though Greg Evans is probably faster than Vern Hawkins right
Here
now.
he's looking at the bottom, coming off turn 2, down the backstretch. Now 1.92 the gap.
It's going to be very difficult for him to make that stick on the bottom, just because as soon as he goes down there, he's going to heat the right front up, and the car's not going to want to turn in the middle of the corner. And it's not going to want to turn off. And so he's going to have to figure, and I don't know if he can, but he's going to figure some way either to deny corner entry to the 14, or he's going to have to figure some way to get to the high side. I don't think Vern Hawkins is going to let him go to the high side.
Here we go again. We're going to ride along with Evans like we did last week. Evans getting up to the wall. Had to roll out of it. He is right there. They're going to both go down to the apron. Only one going down to the apron. Hawkins has the run in the one. Hawkins drives it in a little bit deeper. Here's Evans looking on the bottom. Hawkins kind of fades it down, gives him the dirty air on exit. 4 to go.
He just can't quite make it stick down there. And Vern Hawkins will let him run that apron to his heart's content. Because even if he gets to the inside, I don't think he's got enough grip left to make it stick down there. Here we go. He's going to get to his inside.
Oh, and he really rolls out of it, but that might be what allows him to take the lead, as he's going to go easy in, hard off. But no! Hawkins slams the door on exit. 3 to go.
Just couldn't quite keep it turned on under acceleration. He's got to lift out.
And he has a reset now. Gives himself a bit of a buffer. Now 2/10. Coming to 2 to go. Coming down to the apron this time. Both getting the run down the apron. Going in the 1.
See how much faster Evans is in the middle of the corner?
Yep.
I mean, he's so much quicker, but the guy in front of him is running the line he wants to run, and he loses so much of the handle going to the bottom. It's going to be very difficult to get this done. He's almost going to have to kind of pick the...
Yeah, coming to the white flag this time by 1 lap to go to the bottom. He's going to send it in there. And there's contact! And that might... Wagner is going to run past this. Where's he at? No. Evans is backwards in the wall. Hawkins is still rolling. He is struggling. Where's Wagner? Here comes Wagner down the backstretch. Can Hawkins get there? It's going to be close. And it's going to be Vern Hawkins. Oh, Wagner came real close within a second and a half. Well, we got time. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened with that incident. And, I think, let's watch this one more time. Evans kind of came up. Is it me? Just Evans kind of came up on him.
Yeah, so
I mean, he wasn't. I mean, it's Vern wasn't giving him the line necessarily. I mean, he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to let you come up here and pinch me on the wall." So he held his line.
You know, going back to my race control days, what I always would look for is the seam, the seams in the racetrack, and I would use that to judge who's moving. If you get to where they're coming down toward turn one, just past pit exit, Vern Hawkins is right in between the third and the second and the third seam. He's almost directly in the middle. Greg Evans, coming off the bottom, he crosses the first seam, he crosses the second seam, he crosses the third seam, and Vern Hawkins simply holds his car straight. So
that's kind of how I saw it too. I just want to make sure that I'm seeing this the same way as everyone else is. Interesting. So that's we're gonna have a little bit of controversy at the end of this one. We will talk to Vern here in just a moment, but let's queue up some replays here first, and we'll get into the interview room to interview the podium here. But Sam Crow is going to be coming in third, and that's really going to help him in this point championship because he's not going to let Wagner get much ground on him. So let's see. Sam, we'll get him back here in the replay. I can find him in the replay. There we go. Sam Crow. Let's go to. There we go. That's a good one. That's a good lap right there. And let's find Sam Crow. And let's clear off all of these graphics and let's bring up today's final standings and we'll get into the interview room. Viewed all this before, at least the music.
who is a giant nerd as well as a stock car races down there. I do not.
I see Vern.
Okay.
I see Vern. All right, let's find Sam Crow and bring him on up here. Sam, welcome back to the podium. Things changed rather quickly for that podium outlook there on the last lap. It happened way in front of you. I'm not sure what you saw, but first of all, let's talk about the race and then getting to that last lap and finishing on the podium, because that's got possible championship implications written on it, because you finished ahead of Goodman, and the only person that really was challenging you in the points, or was remotely close to you in the points, was Wagner, and he only finished one position better.
I'm just grateful to get a podium out of this. The competition here is so amazing, and it was funny because when I crossed the line, my relative said third, and I'm like, what is going on? I didn't know what was happening. So I'm thrilled to have a third and be on the podium, and it is always great to talk to you, Gary and Mark. You guys do such a great job. Thank you so much.
No problem. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So you were consistently about 10 laps longer on your runs than everybody else. What was the calculation of staying out longer, and how do you think that benefited you later on in the race?
That's a great question, Mark. My thoughts is that I knew I was really trying to run too conservative of laps early, and I let those guys get out to a big lead. And so then I began to realize I had lost too much time on my conservative approach. So I thought I would run a few extra laps, and that way the first stint I would run a few extra laps and then come out with fresh tires and be able to pass more easily the traffic that would get by me, and that worked out the way I had expected. So then by the second and third stint, I could run all out and just push it a little bit harder. But I really just my strategy just messed up there at the beginning. I let Vern and those guys get away from me.
Just seeing here if the points have been updated. Not yet. So you did have a 4-point cushion over Wagner. And so I would imagine that becomes closer. But with the 4 points separating you and Callisto not being in the lineup, we certainly think you're going to at least move up to second spot halfway through the season. Now the pressure's on. Now, did you ever think you would be in this position? To be honest with you,
no, Gary, not in this group. This group is amazing, and I'm just an old Southern boy here in North Carolina. I shouldn't be running with some of these guys up here. So I'm absolutely thrilled, and just to be a part of the broadcast here and the product that you guys put out and the quality of drivers that are in this field. Honestly, this league has just rejuvenated my excitement about iRacing. It really has. It's been a lot of fun. I hate Lionel's not here. He is a class act and a great racer. I hated the contact that Matt and I had last week. We did talk about it, and there's no hard feelings there. It was just we both felt like we were racing hard for a position, and I still hate it. But I expect Matt to catch me anyway in the points. But just to be in this position, in my personal opinion, and I know you have other guys to interview.
No, take your time, man.
Just to be in this particular position, I will tell you, if it ended today, I would be absolutely honored to finish in the top 3 in points in this group. I can't even believe it. It really is. It's an honor.
Well, you're now kind of in a position now as we get through these races, now every point matters almost. So next up is Bristol, and that's going to be, see, right there is like, now I'm going to put points position, and now we're going to Bristol. And I share that with you because we know in real life Bristol and Talladega, 2 vastly different tracks, but kind of get the same reaction out of drivers when it comes to the possibilities of calamity. Bristol's next. What's your thoughts going into into Bristol here with just now. We're kind of getting it. We're now ensconced in the second half of the season, so every point matters. How are you going to approach this thing at Bristol?
Oh man, jet fighters and a mixing bowl. What are you talking about? It's crazy, and it's just going to be a matter of just getting a good starting position, in my opinion, at Bristol, and then just holding your ground the best that you can. Tire conservation is important, and it just depends. Sometimes you can make that bottom line work at Bristol, but a lot of times people just really hug that high line. It's hard to make passes. So track position really is going to go a long way at Bristol, and just to keep the car clean and stay out of the trouble. It's the same thing whether it's the 2.5 miles at Talladega or if it's a half mile at Bristol.
Right.
Those two factors always remain the same: track position, stay clean, and just try to make the best passes that you can.
Shout outs, friends, families, sponsors. Anyone want to say hi to? Go right ahead.
Well, no, of course. Of always, just a big shout out to you guys and what you're doing with the broadcast. I love going back to watch these things. You do a stellar job. I was excited about the bigger field tonight. Of course, my product that I always carry on my car goes SimLab, and then of course my teammates that I race with on a regular basis: Mike Rigney and John Van Varelis, Lewis Hayes, and some of the others. Greg Evans is a close friend and teammate as well. Pat Armstrong, Rick Vallis, all those guys, longtime friends.
Don't you just love the community you build up with friends over time? Just it's a great thing. Sometimes sim racing can leave you pulling your hair out, but then sometimes you think back about all the good memories and friends you meet, and that kind of makes it a little bit better. But the third place today, congratulations!
Oh, that's
and
well said, Gary. Yeah. I was. I mean, some of these guys I've been racing with for 20 years, so
Yeah.
it's been great. But a thing that I've really appreciated about this year in the ISRA, that I was very reluctant in when I was racing Lionheart Series races, is that I was a little bit apprehensive about making friendships within the Lionheart community, just simply because I was so intimidated. But the people that have come in with the ISRA and the influx of different leagues and people that we have here in this particular series, I have just thoroughly enjoyed making new friends, and it really has rejuvenated my excitement for iRacing.
Hey, if Lionheart gets the Speedway Series back up, got to kind of come join us on the DW12s. It's a lot of fun.
You open wheel guys are maniacs. I'm going to leave that dopamine to you.
All right.
Oh, come on now. We're only slightly mad. Only slightly.
No, I have been watching you open wheel guys for a long time, and that's how I like to enjoy it, watching you, because you guys are amazing. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But I love watching you guys, Mark. It's just amazing what you guys can do with those cars.
Well, with a surprise third place finish tonight, Sam Crow
Thank you,
is
guys.
moving, I think,
Thank
up to
you,
second
guys.
in the points. We will see here when those get updated. But congrats, and we will catch you at Bristol next week.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. You're appreciated more than you know.
Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later. All right, let's bring up Matt Wagner. Matty Wagner, soft stock car, now super ace for finishing on the podium yet again. And this is like a plan finally all worked out and came together for you. Just every strategy, you stayed right up there in that top three, and you brought it home right basically where you started. You got one position extra, but you did everything you need to do, and luck fell your way this time.
I think it's because I qualified actually this time, because usually I'm not a qualifier. I like starting in the back and watching all the the chaos ensue. And this track is completely different. So you can run the bottom for like a certain amount of time, but I felt like I was trying to conserve tires down there, but I felt like over the long run, as the first stint, I was watching Vern Hawkins get smaller and smaller. So I'm like, all right, I better change lines. So I started gaining on him. So I said, okay, I guess I must be doing something right, because I'm actually catching him. And then, of course, there's somebody in my rearview mirror that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's, of course, you know who that is. I don't need to say his name. So, hey, I tell you, the key for this race is pit stops. Whoever would pit first has the direct advantage. It is so hard to pass on older tires here, especially if you try to run the bottom. There is like no grip whatsoever, and you really have to lay off the throttle, and it's so bad. So imagine this track if it was really hot and slick. That would be even more fun, actually. I would kind of preferred that, actually. And about 120 degrees, yeah, just be on edge. It did clip the wall a couple of times. It was still fun. I had a lot of fun out there.
Oh, man. Go ahead, Mark.
I really don't have anything for the stock car nerd ace, Matty Wagner, other than man, what another just workman-like effort. What's your outlook moving forward? We're gonna get some different stuff here. We're gonna go to Bristol. We're gonna go to Talladega.
Bristol.
How do you keep this? How do you keep this string of top 3 finishes, top 5 finishes going, moving forward with the variation coming up in the tracks?
Well, the short tracks, like I said, Bristol is, of course, my home track, technically for the NASCAR side. I've done really well there in the past. Not official. I don't do officials. Yeah, just the heck with that. So the bigger tracks, I feel like I struggle the most. Like California. I really didn't see the schedule. If Darlington's on the schedule, I'll really be looking forward to that track. I just love the tougher tracks, the smaller tracks. You have to save the tires on a short track, just like Bristol. But variations, it really doesn't make a difference for me. It's all about having fun out there, Mark. You know better than that.
So, yeah, the schedule is Bristol, Michigan, Vegas, Nashville, Homestead, and Talladega. So the different tracks that you're kind of looking for there are going to be Bristol and Nashville, where I would imagine Michigan, Vegas are going to race very similar. Homestead probably to a lesser degree, and then Talladega, well, everyone knows how everything is raced there. Just hold on to your rears. Friends, family, sponsors, anybody want to say hi to before we let you go? The points haven't been updated yet. We're keep refreshing to see how you've done. I would imagine that maybe you're in third at least. With Callisto not in the lineup, I think he probably fell a couple positions, especially how close the top 4 are. So with all that said, possibly being third coming out of here, what shout-outs you got for us?
Actually, I'd like to shout out Lionel Callisto. I actually really did miss him in the chats here tonight. Me and him actually do talk about lines to run and all different strategies, and I kind of missed him tonight. I kind of missed him being out here. I'm kind of curious how well he would have done, because I know he likes running, on edge. He does pretty well. So shout out to TWR, all the boys over there. Shout out to you guys, and what do we call it now? P1 Broadcasting?
P1, yes.
Yeah, I'm very happy for you, Gary. Really am. So, guys, y'all take care, and you have yourself a good night.
All right,
keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Matt Wagner.
Oh, yeah, it's all about having fun. See you guys.
Matt Wagner finishes second, going to his home track next week at Bristol.
Car ace.
Stock car ace.
Stock car ace.
Yes, noted stock car ace. All right, let's bring up today's winner, getting his first win here in the ISRA. Bringing him up. Vern Hawkins here in the booth with Gary and Mark. First win here in the ISRA. I believe it's your second race in the Xfinity season. The first time we had you, I think you did reasonably well. Just pit strategy changed things up. But today, left little room for doubt as you dominated pretty much the entire race. Although the elephant in the room, we'll just go ahead and talk about it, is the incident on the white flag lap. Now, as Murph and I looked at it, you held your line, and he kind of came up on you. But I'm looking in chat in the Discord, and you say that you may have came down on him. What do you see? Have you gone back, a chance to look at it? Have you got a chance to talk it over at all with Greg?
I have not talked to Greg, but I held my line, but I did come up. I was pinching him down a little bit just going into that corner, and I probably should have went on up to the wall, but because I'd been there all night, but I was like, it's the last lap, and I was like, I need to keep him from getting that momentum, and we just met in the middle.
Murph?
Yeah, and that's not unreasonable. It is the last lap. You were the early adopter, so we were tracking a pit strategy throughout the race. You were the early adopter. You were first on pit road. Pretty much any time. Was there ever any worry about getting caught in a caution situation where you were gonna lose a set of tires effectively?
Everyone was pretty clean, so not really, because once I pitted, the top 5, 6, 7 guys were pitting anyway, coming down together. It was one lap right after. Greg actually jumped ahead of me on that last stop and gained a ton of ground, and made it real tight there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, just a dominant
Murph.
performance.
Yeah,
just a dominant performance, though, man. Heck of a drive, Gary. You got anything else?
No, 106 laps led. What besides the pit strategy? Of course, I think everyone's kind of noted now. We're going to a lot of green flag pit stops, so the strategy is getting to pit road and getting on and off pit road. What other strategies do you have kind of going into this thing and just going like a bat out of hell, then hitting that first window, pitting immediately, and just making sure that you had the freshest tires at all points during the race, except there at the very end?
Yeah, pretty much. It kind of about for 10 laps, it gets real tight. And then there, the last, like around lap 20, then about 27, 28, it seemed like it kind of balanced out and just run it hard. That's always worked for me here at this track in other leagues and officials. And I actually learned a little bit more as the race went on, just to run completely above the top groove, and it definitely helped.
Yeah, we're watching your replay, and you are way up in the Larson line there. That's for sure. With that, I mean, it's your second. I think this is your second race this season, and will we see you for more races this season, possibly coming with Bristol next, or just what availability of time you got?
Yeah, I should be around a little more. We had our own kind of thing going, and we ended up, we jumped over here, and we're gonna try to run some races over here and see what happens.
All right, well, that's awesome. Well, first win in the ISRA, first win in the Xfinity Series, and any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anybody want to say hi to before we let you go?
Just Transcendent Designs. He paints all my cars, and Tent Slime, Pixelsaurus, and Back Pocket. Pixelsaurus and Back Pocket has a lot of designs for wraps and so forth, real world and on iRacing.
That looks good.
And,
I would say that I don't know if it's Coyote Orange, but orange and black with the 14 on it, I think sits well with us IndyCar fans. So it looks good.
It is a sharp car, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Appreciate it.
Well, congratulations. We'll catch you next week at Bristol.
All right. Thanks. See you guys.
All right. So, Mark, once more on that final lap. We talked about it, and you kind of said you kind of watched the seams. We watched the replay. I didn't see him come down at all. I saw everything kind of come up on him. I mean, do you look at it again? I mean, do you think there's room for a second opinion there, or you're pretty much confident that he was just holding his line and he was going to make it? He was holding his line going into that corner, and it's the last lap.
It's always tough when it's for the win. And I'm sure, Greg is going to feel differently. He'll feel better about it in the morning. Those are just hard racing deals. You got two guys going for the same bit of real estate, coming home for the money, and it's unfortunate that sometimes happens. We don't see that very often in this league, and that's indicative of the talent level and the respect level, and certainly nothing intentional on either.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything intentional, and I do recommend to Greg. Of course, Greg sounds like he's a pro at this. Yeah. Sleeping these off is always a good thing.
just two cars going for the same bit of pavement. It's the last lap, and they got together over there, and it's unfortunate, but it happens. What a great race! I'd be remiss if we did not send a virtual get well soon card to John Force, who somehow uses up his 19th life, and appears to be okay after a pretty crazy wild and crazy crash in his dragster. And so get well soon to Mr. Force. Had the opportunity to meet him.
Graham Rahal's father-in-law.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to meet him at Indianapolis, of all places, a few years ago. He was there with the Rahal team, and we had badges, and had a chance to visit with John Force for a while. You want to talk about a racer's racer and a guy who is
he feels like, to me, he's the center of the party.
You know, he is a lot of fun. Life is never dull. If you're around John Force for more than 30 seconds, you're having a good time. And so, good to see he's going to be okay. Just read that on my phone.
He's like the opposite of Bobby.
You know, and it's funny too. I've got a great story about Bobby Rahal and my dad that I'll tell sometime. But you know, good to see that John Force is going to be okay. Wonderful race tonight. I have to shout out my guys at Black Magic Designs, P1 Broadcasting, Admin Bots, and Indie Alliance Racing. We started pretty good tonight. We didn't finish very good, but we started pretty good. Just had a bit of a Pocono's an interesting place. You can usually get 2 of the 3 right, and we were kind of suffering through turn 2 tonight, and it kind of bit us a little bit, but not too bad. We put a couple of cars in the top 10, and
good.
And that's what you want. And you know, we'll move on and load up and head down the road, and I believe we'll see you tomorrow night.
Indeed, that's Iowa tomorrow night over on ERN. That's the IndyCar Oval Series. Tuesday night top split over on the Elite Racing Network. And that's what will bring the top split action for the remainder of Season 3 of 2024 over there on ERN. Check them out. Just type it in right now, right when we're done here. Elite Racing Network, big green logo, can't miss it, and go subscribe to their page. But everybody that's not subscribed to this page already, this channel, make sure you do subscribe to this channel. The guys at FTN have done us a big solid by hosting the ISRA for the remainder of the Xfinity season, so we really, really appreciate that. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Kansas. Vern Hawkins with the win. Matt Wagner finishes second. Sam Crow with the surprise third place finish on the bottom step. Join us again next week for round 9 of the ISRA Xfinity Series as the teams and drivers head to the high banks of Bristol. Coverage begins around 9:35 p.m. Eastern. Again, that's 9:35 p.m. Eastern. As always, for the correct time in your area, you can find everything you need right here on YouTube at youtube.com/FTN Broadcasting, at FTN Broadcasting. That will bring you to the right spot here. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support P1 and FTN with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below to let us know what you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of P1's and FTN's other iRacing programming, and boy, do they have a lot of it. Track cams today provided by Whiplash Simcams. Thank you to Whiplash Simcams for being the official camera pack provider of P1 Broadcasting. To learn more about Whiplash, follow them on Twitter at their links are in the description, and also you can follow them on like them on Facebook. So yes, one more time, we'll try that again. Follow on Twitter, like on Facebook, and the links are in the description. So for Mark Murphy, everyone here at P1, everyone at FTN, everyone at the ISRA, I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all, good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week on FTN for the next race of the ISRA Xfinity Series. Good night, everybody.